back to Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational platform where we have conversations with and about children and young people in Africa. If you are new here, thank you so much for being part of the Cynthia Untamed community. If you are a returning subscriber, you are most welcome. And please do remember to tell a friend to tell a friend. I have been sharing quite a lot about my experience at the Kenya School of Law, and this is just to enable students who are now joining or current students to also deal with the school, because I wish I had more of this content while I was joining. I wish I had more of this information. I wish I would have been taught a lot more when I was in high school before I decided to become a lawyer. But here we go, we have to start from somewhere. So my last video was about dealing with the fear of the bar exams. Today we are going to talk about why it's important to have a study group or a study partner, because I think it really does count when you are studying for the bar exam. So please do stay tuned to the very end of the video. I think this method may not necessarily work for all students. So if it doesn't work for you, well and good. Please identify the best study method for you. This is what worked for me. This is what worked for a few people. This is what I was encouraged to do, especially in term 3. And that's why I'm really sharing it. Now, the reason why you need a study partner or a study group is because it really helps to reinforce what you have studied in class. You know, when you are in class, the lecturer could say something and you interpret it differently. And in your mind, you actually think you've understood the concept. But really, that's not the case. But when you have a study partner or a study group, then you're able to go over those topics again and again and again. So that's why it's very important. So how do you actually choose a study group, and why are these steps very important for you? The first thing you need to do is to identify who you want to be in your study group. Now, not everybody at the Kenya School of Law might be as serious as you are. Some of us were more in a kind of a very serious situation. We have to do this, we have to finish this thing, you know. And then there are those people who are just there, they are just passing time. There's always going to be those people in a group of nearly 2,000 students. So the first thing you need to do is identify. And how do you identify somebody is going to be either your study partner, because you might prefer to study with one person, or who's going to be in your study group? I always say start with your the firm that you are in, the firm that you are allocated in. That means the group that you've been doing the projects together. Okay, so once you've identified a study group or a study partner, you need to ask yourself, what is it that the 2 of us or the 5 of us are going to be doing together? Are we going to study all the units together, or are we going to focus on just a couple of units? So you don't even need to just be in one study group. You could have decided that this particular study group really does well when it comes to conveyancing. This other group does very well when it comes to professional ethics. So you see, you identify those groups, and then now you take advantage of the different groups that you are in. You don't have to be in one group. You can be in as many groups as possible, but also don't be overwhelmed. You don't have to be in all the groups. Here's the other thing about KSL. There are going to be a lot of study groups. Like, you'll just be on WhatsApp, people are sending links. I don't know what WhatsApp group, what study group, what study. And there's that temptation to be in all the study groups. You cannot be in all the study groups. Not possible. So identify maybe 2 or 3 really good ones, and then now schedule your time depending on those particular groups. And you know, remember, you also need to study individually, and I will talk about this in the next episode. So schedule your time. Say that the 2 of us are going to discuss this and that at this particular time, and this is how we are going to do it. That is really going to help you to also stay organized, so that you're not entering a group discussion and then now you're asking each other, so what do we study? Because I actually joined some groups where that is what used to happen. You join a group discussion, and then everybody is waiting for somebody to take the lead. You're all asking each other, what unit are we discussing today? You end up wasting so much time, and every minute counts. Most effective methods I found when it came to working in groups or working with a study partner was to go through past papers. Now, these past papers are available at your convenience for free. For free, they are available. You can either ask a past student to send them to you, or you can download them from, there's a Google Dropbox that is usually sent by KSL. I'm just forgetting the name of that Dropbox, but that link is sent to all students. Well, at least in my cohort, they sent it to all students. They gave us access. So you open that Dropbox and then you download the papers. You just search civil litigation paper or criminal litigation paper or professional ethics paper, or probate administration paper 2021. You get it from there. You download it, you go through it. They're usually in PDF format. Usually what they do is they just take one paper, they scan it, and then they upload it on that page. So you download it. You might also realize that some may be missing. So just try to find them. I'm sure you can get a majority of the papers. I think maybe I couldn't find maybe just 2 or 3 papers here and there, but they are really available everywhere. So take that past paper as a group. Decide that today we're going to go through the April bar exam in probate and administration. Once you've decided that, and it's even better to decide beforehand, and you tell everybody to go and research, just skim through the paper, just check the compulsory question. What was it about? What was the general topic? So that by the time you're coming to discuss, people have answers. You're not coming there now to start looking for answers. It really does help you to save a lot of time. Be the student who takes the initiative to go through that paper way before you guys go to the group discussion. It really helps you to save time, and saving time also helps you not to get tired really fast. Then the other thing that students struggle with when it comes to these group discussions is the fact that you don't have a marking scheme. So you're there, you're discussing a paper and you don't have answers. So you don't even know if you're discussing the right answers. Now, I don't know whether this is a new practice, but in my cohort, the Council of Legal Education uploaded the best performed papers and the worst performed papers. Of course, they didn't put the admission number, but they just uploaded them on the website. So what you can do, you can go to the Council of Legal Education website, just go to the downloads and download the best performed paper and the worst performed paper. Then as you answer the questions, compare them to how the best student answered them, and ask yourself, how close or how far am I from the answer? A lot of the best performed papers are usually like 51, 52, 53, 54 out of 60. So that's really good enough to help you act as a marking scheme. The other way of getting the answers is to use the acts, all the statutes, all the laws. When you're at Kenya School of Law, always go back to the law. I know you have textbooks, I know you have notes, I know the lecturer said this and that, but always go back to the act. Always ask yourself, but what does the law say? Because when it comes to the bar exam, your reference to the law is what matters the most. You may not remember the specific section or the specific provision, but as long as you remember the general principle in the act, you're able to say the Company Act provides for X, Y, and Z, and this is why person X, Y, and Z would do this in this kind of scenario, because those are the kinds of questions that you will get. So just to go over that again, use the acts, use the best and worst performed papers as a guide. The last bit that you can use as a guide, but with all taking into consideration that nobody is perfect, is this other exam website that I found very useful. It's called Bar Exam Website, and it's run by an advocate who does research on the questions and uploads the questions and the answers, but you have to buy them. So for me personally, I had to purchase like the answers there, basically. But don't take it word for word. There's even a disclaimer on the website that the answers may not be correct. The research has been done according to the best understanding of the person who runs the website. But I can tell you for sure, it really helps, especially when it comes to saving time. Imagine going to study a paper and you don't know anything, because that is what happens a lot. You think you know everything, then you go and look at a paper and you have no answers. So also refer to that website and just look at how just look at the answers that have been provided on that website, but also use your discernment and your brain and your legal knowledge to determine whether those answers are correct. But it does help. I can tell you for sure I used that and it also really helped. So number 1, the Act. Number 2, the Council of Legal Education uploads on the best and worst performed papers. And lastly, check the bar exam website may also really help you to now answer those questions, because you're able to see what is it that the examiner was looking for, what is it that this student did not say. Because the good thing about these past papers is that the questions will be repeated. They'll not be repeated word for word, but the concepts will be repeated. So for example, for civil litigation, you'll always know that number 1 is drafting. That is for sure. For the longest time, we're always drafting a plain. And it's also very important that even as you look at those questions, ask yourself, what is the pattern? What is the pattern and what is missing? What is it that they've not tested in the last 5 years? What is it that they always test? The other thing you also need to be careful when you're using the past papers is don't use, okay, I wouldn't say don't, but to save on time, try and use the most recent syllabus, because there was a point where the law school syllabus was changed, maybe 2014, 2015. So try and use the past papers from around 2014, 2015, 16, coming onwards up to 2022. Because now when you start with the 2007 one, 2006, you know, those ones, fine, the legal concepts remain the same, but the method of testing and the method of evaluation has changed. So try and use the most recent exams as you go back. That will really help. You can start from 2022 going back, or you can start from 2015 going back. And make sure you cross-check and be sure that you've gone through at least, if not all, nearly all the papers as a group. Then as an individual, you can repeat the same process. What times should you do these group discussions? I cannot say that there's a specific time where you will need to do the group discussions, but you can do them when you're very tired, you know, like at the end of the day, in the evening, when you don't want to read on your own. That's when you can do the group discussions. The other time that I found very convenient to do the group discussions was during the weekend. And especially for me, who used to have classes all Saturday, I just used to try that after the classes, because I can't read, I join a group discussion on Saturday evening from around 8 to 11. So that really helped. I have mentioned a particular channel by Pareno Solonka where they used to guide my cohort to approach the bar exam. I'll also leave the link to that here. That really helped, because there used to be like 100 of us and we're all trying. You all read the questions, you all try to answer. When you're doing this in that format, it really helps, because you also learn from other students. You learn, oh, I could have actually said this, I could have actually said that. And it really does help that before you go to that group discussion, please go through the paper. If you have all agreed to go through the 2017 paper for professional ethics, please just skim through it. Don't go to the discussion not knowing anything at all, because it means you're also making the others struggle with you. But it also helps you now to also have an idea of what is happening during the group discussions. So just schedule your time accordingly. You're the one who knows yourself best. You know your schedule better than everybody else. It really does help to reinforce your understanding of the syllabus. That is it for our episode today on group discussions, on what it takes to make your group discussion more effective, how to approach it, how to do it. Please let me know if you had a study partner or you were part of a discussion group. How did you approach that? What do you think were the most effective methods? How did it help you? Please make sure you comment in the comment section below. And please do tell a friend to tell a friend. If you don't follow me on social media, please do that. On Instagram, I am at Cynthia_Opra_Nyongesa. On Twitter, at Cynthia_Opra. Please do check out my digital platform, CynthiaUntamed.com, and I will see you in the next episode.